Hello, happy Thursday. Hope you're all ready for some bass bets today. All right, dog, leave me alone for a minute. So we're coming on a little bit late, um, but better late than never. We're about to cash them in today. Happy March Madness when it really gets kicking. We're gonna jump into the games. The first game's already off. I liked Michigan State. But my brother and my son both liked Mississippi State. So I didn't touch the game, stayed off of it. The reason why I would have bet Michigan State is because of the coach. Um, he has the experience, but you know, that's all we'll say about that. I would have took Michigan State. They both took Mississippi State, so I stayed off. I didn't make a bet on it. Next game, Duquesne and BYU. So BYU started at 7.5. Now they're up to 9. The center is out for Duquesne. However, I think Duquesne's gonna keep this one a little bit closer than people are expecting. They got their new shoes, so they're going to be having some air in them today. I think they would have beat BYU if the center played. They still may beat BYU. I would watch out for Duquesne. BYU, if they're off on their shooting, they just simply suck. So, they have to be able to shoot the 3-pointers and shoot the ball in order to win these games. Where did I find it? What I was looking at when I broke this game down was BYU's field goal percentage when they beat Texas Tech, or when they lost to Texas Tech a few days ago. They shot 37%. When they lost to Iowa State, they shot 39%. Kansas State, they shot 40%. Only 2 games on here where they shot 50% or better. Okie State and TCU. So TCU, they pretty much played lights out that day and beat a good team. Duquesne, they beat VCU with only shooting 29%. So Duquesne, they could play any style. And that's why I think that they're going to cover the spread today. Against St. Bonnie, they shot 50%. Dayton, 42%. St. Louis, 50%. LaSalle, 50%. St. Louis, 50%. So, they're going to make their buckets, and they play all different types of ball. So they've played in the 50s. They won in the 50s. They won in the 70s. They won in the 80s. Won in the 50s again. So, all types of ball. And BYU, basically, their losses, their last 2 losses have both been in the 60s. So I think Duquesne can slow them down. And, of course, BYU can't hit their threes. I think Duquesne can win this game. But we're going to put a little sprinkle on the Dukes of Duquesne plus 9.5 against BYU. This next game is one of my favorites. Akron versus Creighton. Creighton is pretty much the same as BYU, I would say. They have to be on. They have to be able to shoot, hit them threes. And with Akron, let me pull this up. So Akron 74 is kind of their average offense. Creighton's in the 80s. Creighton is 3-1 straight up against Akron. Last time they beat them 82-70. That was in 2016. The time before, 77-61. What else we got here? Neutral site, they're both not great, 50-50. Akron's 0-8 in their last 8 against Big East. 1-7 when playing as an underdog. Akron likes to stay in the 60s. Their field goal percentage is always pretty much below 50%. So they actually lost the game to Western Mich, it looks like, shooting 50%, 84-90. So Western Mich must have just been smoking them that day. They were an 8-point favorite and got beat outright. With Creighton, I mean, Creighton, you know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get a good team that can shoot the fucking ball and can whip some ass. Against Marquette, they shot 54%. Against Seton Hall, 54%. UConn, they shot 54%. Butler, 51%. Georgetown, 58%. So, you know, I just think that Creighton's going to overpower Akron. Only way Akron covers this spread is if Creighton lets up in the end. My money's on Creighton, especially what I like to see is the line is actually moving towards Akron. Money. Give me 1 second here. Let me check this out. See where the actual money is going. Looks like crypto is coming back a little bit, or at least Bitcoin. Looks like some crazy shit happening with ETHgate finally. We've been saying this for a long time. So if you have crypto on the Ethereum network or any of its affiliates, you might want to lock that shit in somewhere else, or get rid of it. It looks like they're going to be pumping Solana, taking out ETH, putting in Solana. XRP is probably going to take on a lot of it, and XLM will probably take on a lot of the smart contracts, and I call them affiliates. So projects that are working with Ethereum or on top of the Ethereum network. I think you're going to see a lot of movement coming up. They're going to be moving to Solana is the hype dog right now, but they're always congested. They can't get their network straight. Never heard the problems with XLM, XRP. So anyway, I figured I'd just get that out there while I'm looking up who's getting the money on this game with Creighton and Akron, because the number's moving. So sometimes they'll do a reverse line movement, trying to trick you into going the opposite way. But it looks like it's 50-50 pretty much on the money. It looks like they might need Akron in this game. My money's on Creighton. It's 50-50 on the money situation. So maybe some big hitters took Akron. So they could donate their money to Badass Bets. Long Beach and Arizona, man, this is a tough game with 20-point spread. So that's why it's a tough game. Arizona's obviously going to dominate. I don't know if they'll cover the 20 points. It really just depends on which Arizona team decides to fucking show up today. The Arizona team that got clobbered by Oregon. Arizona is 5-0 straight up and 4-1 against the spread against Long Beach. So Arizona beat them 104-67 the last time, 91-56, and 85-70. So it looks like they get this matchup quite a bit in the first round of these tourneys. So Long Beach kind of got hot at the end, but I mean, they're playing UC Davis, Riverside, Irvine. So, I mean, the level of competition just isn't even close. But Arizona, they only shot 38% against Oregon. So, yeah, they're going to have to shoot over 50%. Most of their wins have come when they've shot over 50%. Anything, their loss was 38%, and their other loss at USC was 38%. So, Long Beach is always 30, 38, 43, 45, 38. So, I mean, I think Arizona is going to clobber them. $20 points is fucking a high spread, but it does look like Arizona's taking on a little bit of money. So if I was to bet that game, I'm going to take Arizona. Wagner, North Carolina. North Carolina's already moved up from 23.5 to 25.5, so they're taking on some big money. That's exactly the same. I mean, Wagner, basically the same exact game as Arizona Long Beach. So if you think the teams are going to dominate today, the high spreads is where it's at. Morehead State and Illinois. This game's interesting. Looks like the Sharps are on Morehead State on this game. They do score quite a bit. 74, 84. They've never played each other. Both teams are great on neutral courts. Morehead State are 0-16 against Big Ten. But yeah, that doesn't mean anything. 8-1 against spread on Thursdays. Illinois 2-8 against spread on Thursdays. So nothing really like saying one way or another who's going to win this game. I mean, Illinois should win the game, but who's going to cover? So we're laying off of that. It looks like the Sharps are on Morehead, so I would probably lean with the +11 with Morehead, but I'm not touching the game. This next game that we got, Oregon against South Carolina, is very interesting. South Carolina should be able to kick their ass. However, the way that the lines are setting is showing that Oregon's going to win this game. And now Oregon's starting to take on some money. So where are we at? Oregon's got 62% of the bets of the money. Actually, 62% of the bets, but only 53% of the actual overall money is on Oregon. The over is at 71%. Where they got the over at? 133. Yeah, that sounds right. I mean, this could definitely get it to 140. Oregon does have a lot of players that were out. They won that last game. See, they won 4 in a row after losing 3 out of 4. So Utah, UCLA, Arizona, Colorado, they beat them all by only shooting in the 40% range. They shot 53% at Colorado and lost, 52% at Arizona and lost. But when they shoot under 50%, they seem to win. So that tells me that they got to slow the game down a little bit. South Carolina, they're all over the place. They only scored 55 points last game, scored 80 the game before, 93 the game before, and 59 the game before. So really looks like just depends on who shows up out here. I think what's Oregon can do on this game is basically slow them down, get to the end, and keep it within a couple buckets and take them out at the end. So we're going to lean with Oregon on this one. It's at -2. I'd probably just take a money line and say fuck them. It's -125 money line or -115 on the spread. And actually, let me lock that in right now. All right. So we got Oregon, Nevada at Dayton. Interesting game. Dayton's the more well-known. Nevada is usually only good at home. Dayton is definitely, of course, it's college kids, so who knows how many have been there or whatever. I don't go that deep into returning players and all the bullshit. Dayton's 15-0 at home, only 6-5 on the road. Actually, Nevada's pretty decent on the road. They're 8-3 on the road, so that might actually do something. They're 8-3 against the spread. Nevada's 7-1 against Atlantic 10. 1-4 on Thursday. They do have a guard that's questionable today, and another guard that's out. Dayton looks like they've had a guard that's out. I don't keep track of these players, so you guys might know who's been in there, who hasn't, who's good, and who's not. I don't really give a fuck. I go off of their numbers and throw a little bit of truther in there and some gematria, and that's how we come up with our shit. Nevada, so they lost to Colorado State, but they were on a fucking roll before that, 8-1. Dayton has lost to Duquesne, LCU, Mason, VCU. So of course, this is not the same Dayton team as we've had in the past. They only shot 32% last game, but typically they are in the higher 40s, low 50s. Nevada is pretty much solid around 50%. So with the it's basically a pick'em game. It's -1 for Nevada. So I'm not going to touch the game. Nevada's in my backyard, or my Reno. Usually I'd be in Tahoe right now doing these, but we're chilling from home for the start of this. I didn't see a whole lot just to go up and just smash. So I would play the Nevada Wolfpack if you really wanted to bet this game. Texas, Colorado State. The lines have flipped. Colorado State started as a 3.5-point favorite, moved to 2.5 the opposite way, and Texas is still taking money. So let's see what they got going here. My shit reset, so I'm gonna start over. Texas is only getting 52% of the money, and it's pretty even on the bets. So for that line to be moving that much in Texas's favor, books might know on this that Texas is going to get them, or they're seeing a lot of these Texans coming in, and with the mass exodus from the blue states during the 2020 rigged election, COVID scamdemic, a lot of Californians and other states all moved to Texas. So in Texas is a huge college area, college state. Everybody in there, 80% probably all go to college. So there's probably a lot of money coming in on Texas from those type of people, and so this may be a book move to just snatch up that cash today, and Colorado State ends up coming in and beating Texas. Oakland and Kentucky. This is one of my games that I do love. I think Kentucky's gonna fucking whip their ass. Hopefully, I mean, you got the school, you got the experience, recognition. Uh, their average is 89 points a game to 76 by Oakland. Let's see any stats. Oakland's 2-8 against spread, playing on the road. Kentucky is 8-1 on Thursdays. Kentucky's 11-0 straight up against the Horizon. Doesn't mean anything when it comes to spreads. The total's gone over 4 out of 5. Oakland has a guard that's questionable. Kentucky has no injuries. Oakland's been on a little roll. But again, they play these scrub schools. I mean, they beat Cleveland State probably, I don't know, with only shooting 38%. They beat Robert Morris shooting 34%. That's not going to work today. Kentucky lost shooting 50%. They shoot almost 50% shoot 50% almost every game. Against Bama, they shot 63%, so they were lights out. They lost out LSU shooting 43%, but most of their games are shooting over 50% or better. I just think Kentucky's going to run them. I think Kentucky wins this by about 22. I'm going to say like 87, 65, 67, 87, 67. So that is already locked in on that bet. Let's see what the money was going on there. Kentucky's getting 54% of the cash. So that's kind of where the casinos like it, and the sports books. Close to a 50-50 as they can get. Gonzaga and McNeese State, I think they're way underestimating Gonzaga, even though Gonzaga is not near as good as they were in the past. But this is McNeese. I bet them throughout the tourney, and so it's hard for me to bet against them now. But I do think Gonzaga gets them. They've won 10 straight. Zaga only lost to St. Mary's. I think in this game, the best bet is the over. They start at 148, it's up to 150. I think this game goes. Actually, let me check this out. I think this game goes in the 160s, 170. I think it's going to be a really high scoring game. 70. Well, yeah, the money's all on McNeese State in this game. -7. I think the play on this game is the over. I'm going to lock in the over on the Gonzaga McNeese State game. I think you have a little bit of value up to maybe 151. 153 is kind of like where I'm seeing this game come in at the very minimum. So if it goes above 151, start being careful. 153 is absolute max. I mean, 152 is 153. You get a push. Iowa State, South Dakota, the Jackrabbits, South Dakota State Jackrabbits. I love that team during the season and in these early tourneys, but there's an interesting stat. South Dakota State has beat Iowa State the last 2 times they played them. So they must just have their number. They shoot 57, 59, 50, 54, 55%. Iowa State is always pretty much 40s, 33. They won a game shooting 33. They beat BYU shooting 36%. So it's an interesting game. Live dog here on South Dakota State plus 16. That'd be a hell of a money line. What is it? Plus with 1150. That's worth a small bet. $100 will pay you $1,150. Tennessee, St. Pete. Man, I like St. Petersburg as a team, but Tennessee, they could annihilate them pretty easily. Quinnipiac beat them by 15. Tennessee's been struggling lately. I mean, yeah, Tennessee's just, they were rolling and came into the home stretch, losing 2 in a row. Kentucky, you can understand, but Mississippi State, there's no way they should have got beat by almost 20 points. St. Pete's, I think they're going to stay in the 60s, maybe 68. Tennessee's probably going to get to 81. I don't think they're going to cover that spread, but they could just annihilate them. So I'm going to stay off that game. If I had to pick it, I'd probably take St. Pete plus 21. North Carolina State Wolfpack against Texas Tech. North Carolina State's 0-6 against the Big 12. They got fucking 3 guards out, questionable. Texas Tech's got everybody out too. Texas Tech just got roped by Houston. I'm going to stay off this game. The line says Texas Tech wins by 6, but I'm going to lay off. Sanford at Kansas, for this line to be 7, Kansas must have that player injured still. Forget who he was, but let's see. Yeah, they got a forward who's questionable. Looks like their center is probable, and the guard is out. Sanford got beat by Wofford 69-91. I think that could be the same type of game, but Kansas has just been looking like shit. They did kick Kansas State's ass 90-68 to come out of a 2-game losing streak. They're back on a 2-game losing streak, so I think Kansas is gonna kick their ass. So let's see. Last game, Drake and Washington State. This game's close. Drake's been playing well. They don't shoot too good, 40s, and they did have 160 game. Washington State's kind of up and down, but they do play obviously a better level of competition. I'm going to say Drake wins this game 77-74. But that is all we have for college basketball and March Madness today. We did pick up a win with San Diego Padres at 3 a.m. So made money while we're sleeping, and looking to do the same thing today. We're going to make these bets, head out, and make some money. Badassbets.com. Out.